Hello everyone, welcome to week 7 of NFL preview, where I can simplify the game into just 3 words and then give you a slightly longer description. So we will start with Thursday Night Football, Saints versus Broncos, and this one just writes itself out, right? Peyton comes home. This is the storyline. Sean Payton is coming back to the Saints, where he spent 16 years as a head coach. And it could not be on any other night in which they honor Drew Brees as an organization with the Saints. So it's going to be full of memories, full of perhaps not necessarily great football, but at least full of nostalgia. And you might be seeing really great quarterback in Drew Brees, not on the field, unfortunately, or on the field over the halftime. Towards the game, this one is two teams that just get their ass kicked. Saints given up like over 50 points by the Bucks. That was mess. Actually, the rookie QB in Rattler looking good as a backup injury to Carr, but Bucks just demolished them. Broncos, despite losing only by 7 points to 7 points, to the Chargers, it was not close. Like it was 0-23 entering fourth quarter, where Bonix got a lot of good yardage, several good drives, but the game was not close. So both of these teams are coming from tough losses, and it's anybody's game, I would say. Jaguars versus Patriots in London, and to me, it's almost international crime. Like sending these two to show Europeans and me, like unfortunately I won't be in London, but I'm European. Send these two teams to London. Like, yeah, this is, come watch football. I mean, really, I'm supposed to watch this? I don't want to. I really don't. I mean, okay, Drake May looked quite good actually in his first game against Texans, so there is some semblance of hope. But Jags just defaulted to really poor performance against the Bears, and yeah, it's like bottom 5 teams in terms of excitement right now in NFL, battling it out in London. Really not something that a lot of American viewers, I think, will wake up to watch. Falcons versus Seahawks. As you know, I'm a Seahawks fan, and to me this one is not okay. DK. DK Metcalf, I have some trouble with you. Last 2 games, I will not say that he solely cost both of them. I think against 49ers we were heavily outmatched, but his antics on the sideline, him fumbling the ball in key situations, some lack of game awareness on some picks, and actually not that much of toughness against like Deontay Banks. I mean, come on, like you have like 30 pounds on him, just box him out. I think he needs to get his shit together, or like Seahawks might head to like 3-5, 3-6 record, and they might engage and talk about drafting this star wide receiver. On the other side, Falcons offense starts to hum. They look really good, and they will be handful for Seahawks to handle, especially with Bijan and Tyler Argill really putting the work as running backs. Bills versus Titans. To me, these are gunslinger shooting blanks. Well, both of these QBs are gunslingers in my opinion. But on one side, we can see cool, calm, experienced Josh Allen not really putting balls in harm's way as much as he used to, making plays left, right, left, or center. And on the other side, like the, let's say, ugly flip of that coin in Will Levis, who like entered the league on a bang, like he had astonishing game 1, but ever since, like he makes boneheaded mistakes. This was a year where you want to evaluate him as Titans, and evaluation really is like looking really bad. So that's the game for me. Browns versus Bengals, and this is more about Browns. I'm saying burn it down. This is absolutely ugly. Like entering a year, I had actually quite high expectations from Browns. I like that they kept several really good players on their defense. That should be a huge strength of theirs. And I expected the offense to do something. But boy oh boy, it's ugly. Like Deshaun Watson is playing like he doesn't give a shit. And everyone is like, yeah, we are not benching him, he gives us the best chance to win. And I think the team is kind of full of that bullshit because it's just not true. Truth to be told, it's not all his fault by his play. I would say it's more like he is actually looking, I think, better this year than he looked like last year, which is like really bad because he didn't look good last season. But Amari Cooper really did not step up, and they are probably really wise to let him go. But like that offense just misses everything, man. And I think it's partially because players are just not willing to follow Deshaun Watson as a leader, and at this point I cannot blame them. So the question is how you get out of this mess. I would say it's probably like really burning it down, trading Myles Garrett. I think you are screwed for like next 2 or 3 years with the Deshaun Watson contract. And now is the time to get anything like really good value for obviously one of the best league space rushers, because you are not getting anywhere next 3 years. And the other thing is probably try to trade Deshaun Watson, add like your first round pick to it, to some team like the Panthers, who should have a lot of cap space to swallow that contract, or like help you swallow it because you are not getting rid of all the money. You are still like on the hook for like 80 million even if you trade him, but it's better than like 160 that you are on the hook if you just cut him. So it's really ugly, and I think it's time to just burn it down for the Browns. On the other side, the Bengals, it's must-win game for them. They need to like show the world that they can at least beat bad teams, because like even against that Giants, it was like really close. Like they were on the verge of losing that game. And then we go to Packers versus Texans, and towards this one I have to use analogy from my favorite PC game, Football Manager, and it's youth to gold. And what do you mean by that? Everybody who knows Football Manager probably knows about this. It's about like challenging yourself to only build your team by youth. You cannot buy certain age players. You cannot like keep players that are, let's say, over 30 in your team, etc., etc. It has several variants, and this game is kind of an example of doing that in the NFL, because both of the teams are super young. They are led by young quarterbacks. They are essentially entering their second season. I know with Jordan Love it's not really true, but it's his second year as a starter. With CJ Stroud, it's actually his second year. And we see both of these teams being super excited, super fun to watch, and this should be an absolute banger. Colts versus Dolphins. And this one, I'm going to visit alternative reality for this one. It's Flacco to Hill. And it's something that won't happen in this game. Most likely, I would say it's like 99.99% chance that it cannot happen. It would require somehow Hill playing on defense, which probably won't happen. But imagine if Dolphins realize that Tua is injury prone, and perhaps we want to have a better backup QB than we have in Skylar Thompson or Tyler Huntley. And Joe Flacco was there. He was there to be signed. And I would really like to watch Flacco to Hill deep ball connections, because he's doing that with like Alec Pierce in the Colts, and Tyreek is just like, much better version of that. And I think Flacco would work here in Dolphins, and I think for Dolphins it's just a shame that they don't have him, because truth to be told, they could have been still a fun team to watch even with Tua going down. For the Colts, it's unclear whether Anthony Richardson will start or Joe Flacco. At this point, I would say Joe Flacco is probably giving them better options to win, but it doesn't look like they are much of a threat, especially if like several injuries towards their D-line. So this is not actually the year for them to like go for a big run. So like winning game or two more doesn't make that much of a difference. So I would say if Richardson is healthy, they will want to play him to just see what they have in him. Vikings versus Lions. Another banger, and I could not resist to call this one Battle of Winterfell. I didn't want to go for like Battle of Bastards, which is like what actually happened with Game of Thrones series, and because it's not only like this one castle that only Lions are attacking, it's also Vikings. It's Bears, and it's also Packers. Like NFC North is the division to beat this year. They are exceptionally good. Every team is over 500. Like the worst record is 4-2. All teams actually looking quite good, and I mean, this is this is obviously the top two teams as of right now. I would say the Vikings are obviously 5-0, coming with a bye, and Lions, despite being like 4-2 or 5-0, I'm sorry, I think they look even better. But they've lost Aiden Hutchinson, and that's such a huge loss. And we kind of have to see what it looks like, because like against Dallas, it kind of did not matter, right? Like the game was over at that point. It was more like nobody wanted to play anymore because, huge injury, they got blown out of the water. So this is the game that we should see how much of an impact it's going to make. And I would not be surprised if Lions make a move for someone like Max Crosby, someone like Myles Garrett, or someone like Hassan Reddick, because I think they are poised to be Super Bowl contenders or even favorites. The Vikings, Sam Darnold slightly slipping down, but I think off a bye, you should expect them to be blazing hot against not very great Lions defense, especially with Aiden Hutchinson. So I expect a really nice battle. Giants versus Eagles, I went with fancy line matchup. I really like the defensive line of the Giants. They seem to be what was promised with adding Brian Burns. They are playing hard. And on the other side, I would say still one of the best strengths of the Eagles is their O-line. And given Hurts is struggling as a QB, if Giants are about to win this game, especially if Malik Neighbors is not going to play, which is still up in the air, it needs to come from this D-line. And I would not be surprised if they go for some strip sack fumbles, because Jalen Hurts is slightly careless with the ball, and Burns, Sexy Dexy, and Kayvon Thibodeau definitely want to have his number. Rams versus Raiders, to me, it's must-win game. For both of these teams, if they want to do anything to have any chance of reaching postseason, they need to win this one. And I would say Rams have much better chance reaching the postseason, because despite having worse record, I would argue that they are the better team, and in upcoming weeks they should get several of their injured stars back, like Puka Nacua, like Cooper Kupp. So they really need to win this one to really prepare themselves for a run when these guys get back. And for the Raiders, they traded Devonta Adams. It seems like they are trying to rebuild or something like that. But I mean, if they would win this game, maybe they won't blow it out towards trade deadline. There are some rumors about trading Max Crosby, which I would hate, because I think he's a Raider and he should finish his career as a Raider. It's not that I don't wish him success. He just fits that organization to me absolutely perfectly. So I would hate to see him go from there. Then it's Commanders versus Panthers, and to me this one game is about put Young back, and I really mean it. I believe this is the game where Carolina Panthers should just put Bryce Young back in the game. Why? Well, there's really few bad outcomes for you out of this game, because if you get blown out, it's going to be most likely about the defense being just absolute shit show, which is. And if you somehow win, and it's like Young beating Jason Daniels would be a huge storyline for his confidence, for everyone rooting around and stuff. But more of this is the O-line for the Panthers is working. They invested and the O-line is good. Chuba Hubbard is running very well. They do get several playmaker stuff from their wide receivers, and Commanders defense is definitely one of the worst in the NFL, right? They also, I think, lost Jonathan Allen this week, so this should be a game where, if you cannot work it out in this one, and perhaps it's just not going to happen. But still, they have 2 more games after this one, in which they can definitely win. They have like Giants, I think, in there, I think like Cardinals or something like that, Saints, I think. So they can go on a run. Like, they are a bad team, but they can go on the run. Those games are winnable. And you want to go on that run with Bryce Young, right? Like, if this should ever be success story, which doesn't look like it, you need to like show to the world that he is the guy. And I thought, like, I think he's set for a month. You learn, try to gain his confidence. There's several good messages from that locker room that he is like getting up to speed. And I cannot imagine a better game than this one, because if he has a game like Drake May had against Texans where they lost by 20 points, but you still feel good about Drake May because he looked apart. So if he has this type of game and they still lose, you're absolutely okay as Panthers fan. If he looks like shit against this one, and you can still put him on the bench for another 4 to 5 weeks, and you have last 4 games of the season to give him like one last Hail Mary chance that he might be the guy, then you just know it's not going to happen, right? But if he looks good, you have another couple of games that are winnable, that you are not facing necessarily the best defenses in the league. And you can start to build something with Bryce Young. And I definitely think that should be a story for this one. So, Panthers, if you are watching this, please put Bryce back, because this is the game where he should come back. For Commanders, I mean, what a fun team. Like, they actually went, I wouldn't say toe-to-toe with the Ravens, but Ravens are like probably the best team in the league right now, so it's hard to go toe-to-toe with them. But they were competitive, and if I knew what the Ravens were going to be like, I thought this was the high end of the offense. I told you I really like it. If you told me before the season this is how Ravens look and Commanders go there and be competitive, I was to be no way. So huge kudos to what they are doing, and I think Rookie of the Year is almost done. That competition, we know is good. Oh, okay, maybe it's Caleb. Could be Caleb. Okay, it's not done, I guess. But I would still say it's Daniel as of right now by a country mile. But yeah, it could be actually a fun one. Caleb is actually starting to heat up. Okay, it's not over. Then another banger, late window. San Fran hosting Kansas City Chiefs. This one has to be looking for revenge. They have been denied by them twice going for Super Bowl. They at least want to fucking beat them in regular season game. They are supposed to do it, but Chiefs off a bye? Give me a break. Like, you don't want to see that. And, was it? And it's just like 49ers, they had their kind of mini bye because they played on Thursday night against the Seahawks, so they will come refresh as well. This should be an absolute banger. There's several really good games this week, and this is another one. Steelers hosting the Jets. To me, it's again time to switch the QBs and to make this one really a throwback, like 10 years ago. I think they went toe-to-toe, Packers versus Seahawks, that insane, I think it was division round game with recovered onside kick, huge fourth quarter comeback by the Seahawks, getting to overtime because Rodgers actually managed to get them into position to kick a field goal, and pretty much in fourth play, I think it was Ricardo Lockett catching a touchdown from a deep pass by Russell Wilson, moving Seahawks to the next round. It was a banger. Russell Winston stink in that game, and then he came back and just won the game with, I'm not sure if it was Jordan Nelson who did not catch the ball, or probably someone else on the recovery. And they are both in new teams, and I hope to see them clash one more time. Justin Fields, it's kind of okay-ish, but the upside doesn't seem to be there. He's not improving on what started weeks 1, and I think they need to spark and see what they have in Russell Wilson. They can definitely go back to Justin Fields, but they need to see that. And I think this is a good game to do it. On the other side, Aaron Rodgers, it's time to stop pointing fingers at anyone but you. Like, this is absolutely, definitely your team. You have everything you wanted. Alan Lazard, fired Robert Saleh, Devonta Adams, Nathaniel Hackett. Make it work. Don't blame that guy was not there, that guy was this, that guy was that. Focus on yourself and deliver, because you are not playing well. So that's it. Next one, Buccaneers versus Ravens. I would say another exceptional game because Bucs looks really apart. But to me, cookies won't matter. This is obviously a reference to Tom Grossi and his NFL scripted and Baker Mayfield baking cookies that delivers them this kind of results. But I would say no matter how good of the cookies will Baker bake this week, I think it's just not going to be enough to beat the Ravens. But it should be one hell of a game. Like Todd Bowles' defense that looking a bit shaky, but getting probably both Kansas and Winfield to going back and play again. That secondary is looking really nice. Vitava against Derrick Henry. I mean, there are several great matchups, and it should be really fun to watch. And even on the other side of the ball. Arizona Cardinals versus LA Chargers. To me, this one screams Call for Duty. Obviously, a reference to Kellen Murray and Call of Duty, but I would say this is a matchup between a team that, like, 1 week shows up, 1 week doesn't, and it's more like the offense. 1 week shows up, 1 week doesn't. We are talking about Cardinals, obviously, and it's like they know they cannot rely on the defense. They just don't have talent on the defense, especially on the defensive line. It's just not good enough. So they need to hum on offense, and like we've got like 3 really good weeks and 3 kind of meh weeks. So we don't know which one are we going to get. On the other side, Harbaugh comes in and Chargers are absolutely in line, and I would say Call for Duty absolutely sticks with them because everybody seems we are going to be hard, we are going to fight, we are going to scrap, we are going to run the ball. They control the possession against Broncos like almost 3-1 entering fourth quarter. So they are prepared to be physical, and I'm not sure that the Cardinals are. And that was everything from me. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, please leave a comment, and see you next week with another one. Bye bye.